Utopia through dance, the cultural impact of the early UK rave scene. Join the future, Bleep Techno and the birth of British bass music charts the origins and development of a pioneering electronic music scene in late 80s and early 90s Britain. Published in 2021, journalist and electronic music historian Matt Anniss delves into the sounds, artists, clubs, and culture surrounding Bleep, a unique fusion of Detroit techno, Chicago house, electro, and synthpop emerging from the post-industrial cities of northern England. Anniss begins by exploring the decline of traditional industries in cities like Sheffield, Leeds, and Newcastle that left urban centres depressed but also opened space for cultural experimentation. Alienated working-class youth turned to new technologies like Roland synthesizers, Akai samplers, and tape editing to create electronic sounds reflecting their realities. Early dance floors provided communal escape, seated by DJs spinning imported American techno and house records. Before long, a distinctly British spin on these genres developed as young producers began making their own tracks. Unique sonic trademarks included heavy bass lines, abrasive synth riffs, and futuristic bleeps and robotic voices that gave the new genre its name. Anniss profiles pioneering groups 808 State and LFO and the earliest club nights, planting the seeds of UK rave culture. The book analyzes how Bleep Techno reacted against mainstream synthesized pop of the 80s embodied by groups like New Order. Underground British producers favored darker, stripped-down, industrial textures even when utilizing similar gear. Politically and economically, Bleep reflected the realism of Thatcher-era Britain's alienated youth who found psychological escape through machines and synthesizers. Rave's explosive popularity expanded from this foundation. Anniss dedicates chapters to specific regional scenes that cultivated distinct local flavors while remaining connected. Cities such as Sheffield, Leeds, Newcastle, Manchester, and Liverpool had different underground influencers, clubs, and labels that gave their breed of bleep a unique spin. Dancing in warehouses and industrial spaces created a futuristic, otherworldly vibe fitting the robotic music. Join the Future also spotlights key labels like Warp, Network, and Production House that moved UK techno and rave from the underground into the pop charts. Anniss notes crossovers with rock culture, from bands like the Happy Mondays melding acid house and rock to illegal raves in fields evading authorities. The book culminates with landmark events like Castlemorton Common drawing 30,000 to 40,000 attendees, signaling rave's explosive spread into mainstream consciousness. While coming from poor and oppressed communities, Anniss argues the early UK rave scene was largely positive and utopian compared to the violence of 70s punk. Politically unaligned, rave's collectivism provided escape from divisive realities of 80s Britain through the unifying power of dance music. However, the scene's exponential popularity inevitably brought negative side effects of gang infiltration and drug abuse. After 1994's Criminal Justice Act cracked down on unlicensed raves, Anniss traces how the scene evolved and fragmented. Some veterans moved into creating more polished music like drum and bass, while others kept the underground warehouse spirit alive in niches. Anniss emphasizes Bleep's continued influence on British electronic music and global bass culture, even as dance floors and fashions changed. Join the Future represents a definitive history of perhaps the most seminal era in British electronic music. While scholarly in detail, Anniss maintains a propulsive narrative so readers can appreciate Bleep's high-energy appeal. His interviews with key artists and attendees provide inside perspectives from the dance floors and studios where it all erupted. For electronic music fans, the book offers a deep understanding of how contemporary sounds originated through Bleep's revolutionary marriage of technology and youth culture. Anniss's book should also intrigue those interested in recent British cultural history through its connections to broader societal upheavals. He explores how working-class urban centers nurtured their own musical revolution as traditional industries crumbled, paralleling post-industrial shifts across the Western world. Join the Future shows how even disadvantaged youth can harness tools of technology and community to forge new futures, creating inspiring legacies. While largely focused on Britain, the author makes cross-Atlantic connections showing how UK rave culture borrowed from and influenced American house and techno. The book serves as a reminder of how artistic movements cross-pollinate globally, even before the interconnectedness of today's internet age. For electronic dance music fans, Join the Future is essential reading and an enjoyable chronicle of how synthetic bleeps and bass transformed nightlife and musical possibilities. Even those unfamiliar with or indifferent to Rave's rise will find cultural insights into recent British history with lasting repercussions. Anniss provides a thoughtful retrospective on a phenomenon that still pulses through global pop and club life decades later.